So for here, what we have taken, so this is a basically what we can say, this is basically a 4-variable k map. Fine. So in this 4-variable k map, I will write down some values over here, and then we would write the SOP. Then we would write the SOP format of that particular simplified expression. Fine. Particular simplified expression. Okay. So let us first do the numbering. Fine. Let us first do the numbering. If numbering is possible, fine, we will do it 0, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 14, 15. Fine. So, in this particular example, if if we wish, we can ignore the numbering also. So for explaining you in a better way, I have just written this numbers, but now I would be erasing this so that you can I get the space for explaining the k-map part. On your own, you can try by writing these numbers also. Fine. So now just suppose take an example. Fine. So there are some values written 0, 0, 0, 0, and in the next column, in the next row, 1, 0, 0, 1. In the next, it is 1, 0, 1, 1, and in the next, it is 0, 0, and 0, 0, 0. Right. So, how to simplify this particular how to simplify this particular what we can say, this particular expression? Fine. So what we have to write? We have to write the SOP format. So for solving the k-map, fine. If we have to write the equation in the SOP format, what we will take into consideration? We will take into consideration the ones. Fine. If we have to write the expression in the POS form, then we would take into consideration the zeros. Fine. We would take into consideration the zeros. Fine. And after when for the SOP we are taking into consideration the ones, and for the POS we are taking into consideration the zeros. Fine. So what we will do with these ones and zeros? So what we will do with these ones and zeros? We would basically uh, form the pairs. Okay, so we'll basically form the pairs. So how to do the pairing? How to do the pairing in the k-map? So first we will try to make the pair, means taking two ones, means we will try to make the pairs. Fine. For taking two at a time. Then we will try to make a quad. Quad means taking four at a time nearby ones. Fine. And after that we will try to make the octet, means taking all the 8 along together. Fine. Okay. So here if we will see, so how many pairs we can form? So one pair is this. Fine. One pair is this. If you would notice, you would say that this is also one pair, and this is also one pair. Fine. So if you would notice, you would say that there are basically three pairs. But let me explain you. These are not these are not four, means these are not three pairs exactly. So what these are was written 1, 1, 1, and 1. Fine. So these are basically, this is the pair. Fine. This is the pair. Now if you would observe it clearly, what will you would observe? That these two ones can form a quad. Fine. These two ones and these two ones can form a quad. Fine. It would become a quad. Okay, it would become a quad. Fine. So here what we will get? Here we will get one pair and one quad. Fine. So now for the pair, we have to write the simplified value. So pair is this. Okay. So for this, we have to write the simplified value. So first, we'll write it over here: a bar, b bar, a bar, b, a b, and a b bar. Here we would write bar, d bar, bar, d, c, d, and c, d bar. Fine. So for this pair thing, how we will write? So this pair is coming in this row, fine. So we would take AB, fine. So AB common, fine. Or for this pair, AB is common. Now this pair is formed by taking these two cells of these two columns, fine. In these two columns, what is common? In these two columns only D is common. D is changing, fine. So next we would write whatsoever it is, means whatsoever the variables are same, we would write, and if some variable is changing, then we don't write, fine. Now after this, next thing is one quad that we are getting, fine. What we are getting? We are getting one quad, fine. When what we are getting? We are getting one quad also. Now this quad is basically formed by taking these two rows. So in these two rows, what is common? In these two rows, A is changing. Once it is A, then it is A bar. B is same, fine. So for this, it would be B, fine. And now we would take this column and this column into consideration. So what is not changing? It is D bar is not changing, and okay, D bar is same, and C bar and C is changing. So D bar is same. So we would write D bar, fine. So what would be the final expression? What would be the final expression of this particular K map? It would be SOP form of this particular K map would be B D bar plus A B. Fine. SOP form of this particular equation would be this, fine. SOP form of this particular equation would be this. Okay. Now, so you can have a look of it, that how we have solved it, and how we have written the SOP format of this particular equation, this particular example, fine. So these values I have taken on my own, means for taking the example into consideration, I have taken these values on my own. So you can, means just if some question is given to you, then you would be given, means where means that I will explain you in the later part, means where and how you have to place ones and zeros and all, and after that you have to do this minimization thing. Okay, fine. Now here you just have to understand how we have done the minimization, or how we are doing the minimization thing, fine. So you can have a look of it. Now coming to the, we would take the same example. Now what we would do with the same example, we would write the same equation in the POS format, fine. So we would write the same equation in the form of POS format, fine. So what example I have taken? So we have taken 0 0 0 0, then it was 1 1 double 0, and what was here? So these were the values that I had taken into consideration in the previous example, fine. So now for writing the POS format, for writing the POS form, what we will take into consideration? We will check the, we will check the zeros. We'll check the zeros and we will make the pairs of the zeros, fine. So or means we can erase the ones so that it is easy for you to understand, means how the pairing is being done over in this case, fine. So if you would observe, so what basically you have to do in the K-map, you have to make the groups, you can say, means how many means you have to try to make the bigger groups as much as possible, and minimum number of groups, means you have to form the minimum number of groups and the bigger groups as much as possible, fine. So here if we will see, then what is happening over here, if we'll see, then we'll come to understand maximum, fine. One was, we can take the pair of 2, then 4, then 8, fine. These three we can do, fine. So if we'll see, so these fours and these four will form the group of 8, or you can say octet would be formed by taking these into consideration. Fine. Next, what we can make? Next, we can make the quad. Fine. It would be these fours. These 4 zeros would make the quad. Now this 0 is remaining. Fine. So this 0 is remaining. So means you would think that we can make the pair, but one quad we can include it in the quad format. Fine. So these things we would get from here. Fine. Now these things we would get from here. So from here, what we are getting? We are getting one octet. We are getting one octet and two quads. We are getting one octet and two quads. Fine. So now we have to write it in the form of the POS format. So for the POS format, what if 0 is there, so it is a variable is represented in the normal format. Fine. So it would be a plus b. It would be a plus b complement is b. Fine. Now here it would be c plus d, or this would be c plus d complement. This would be c complement d. This would be c. Fine. So these are the things. Fine. So first we will write for the octet. For the octet, this column and this row and this row we have to take into consideration. Fine. So in these two rows, what is common? You can say A and A bar is changing, only B is common. Okay. So we'll get B. Now we'll take these four columns. Fine. In these four columns, nothing is common, everything is changing. So for the octet, we would get B only. Fine. For the octet, we would get B itself. Fine. Nothing else from the B. Nothing else apart from B. Fine. Now coming to the two quads. So first we will write about this quad we will write. Fine. So first we will write about this quad. So for this quad, it will take it consists of the four rows. So all the variables in the rows are changing. Fine. So what we are left with the common part. So we are left with the common part in the column only. So for this it would be C plus D bar. It would be C plus D bar. Fine. It would be C plus D bar. Okay. Now next coming to this quad. So what we'll get from this quad? So this quad consists of basically this row and this row. In these two rows, what is common? A is common. So we'll write A. Fine. Plus now it consists of these two columns. So in these two columns, what is common? D bar is common. So we would write D bar. Fine. So now we have got the values of all the things. So we can write our final POS form. Our final POS form would be, it would be product of sum to B dot C plus D bar dot A plus D bar. Fine. So this would be our final POS format of this particular example. Fine. So if you will take into consideration the summary from these two slides, so what you will understand that for the SOPs, what we have done, we have taken into consideration the ones, and for the POS format, we have taken into consideration the zeros. Okay, and after that, what we have done, we have tried to make the pairs. Fine, we have tried to make the pairs. If two are coming together of 4 or 8 means pair, quad, or octet. Fine. So we have tried to make the pairing in this format. So while pairing, what we have tried to do, we have tried to make big groups, but number of groups should be small. Means you have to take into consideration how means maximum जितने ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा combinations या फिर pairs available हो, अब वो एक साथ ले लो, है ना, मतलब जितने ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अवेलेबल हो वो ले लो, मतलब हमें बड़े से बड़ा ग्रुप बनाना है बट कम से कम ग्रुप्स बनाने हैं, ठीक है, तो हमें ये चीज़ यहाँ पे रखनी है। नाउ कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट important condition. Okay, so next important condition is if suppose what happens in a particular K map. Fine, so we will take the two conditions. If suppose in this particular K map, suppose in this particular K map, what happens? What happens is that all the values are 1. Fine. If suppose in this all the values are 1. Fine. If in this all the values are 1, means this K map is like this. All the values are 1. So what would happen if all the values are 1? So now if we would try to make the pair, so what we will do? 2, then 4, then 8, and after that 16. Fine. After that 16. So here if we will try to form the group, we can easily make the group of 16. Fine. We can easily make the group of 16 in this format. So for this particular K map, what final expression we would get? We will get the final expression as f is equals to 1. The final expression that we would get is f is equals to 1. Fine. Now just coming to the next K map. Suppose all the values are 0. Fine. Suppose all the values are 0. All the values are 0. So what would happen if all the values are 0? So let us take that all the values are 0. If all the values are 0, what would happen to this? What would happen to this? Suppose if all the values are 0, then what would happen to this? So in this case, we can also, in this case also, we can make the group of maximum 16. Fine. So all these would be grouped together. Fine. And the final expression that we would get f is equals to 0. Fine. The final expression that we would get in this case is f is equals to 0. Fine. So if these two important conditions, you can say, or the special conditions arises in your question or somewhere you encounter these special conditions, then you can conclude that for this we will get f is equals to 1, and for this we will get f is equals to 0. Fine. And the conclusion of this is that in these above cases, there's no dependency on variables. Fine. Because the final expression we are getting f is equals to 1 and f is equals to 0 means these are not dependent on any variable, means these values are not dependent on any variables. Fine. So you can have a look on it. Now coming to the example number 2. Fine. Now coming to the example number 2. So in this example, what I have done, in this example also, I had taken some values. So what values I had taken, I'll write it down. So in this example, first we will look the POS format. Fine. So first we will look the POS format. So I'm just writing the zeros. So I'm just writing the 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then this 0 and this 0. Fine. So in this, we have to write the POS format. So for the POS format, what we take into consideration? We take into consideration the zeros. Fine. So I have written only the zeros here. Fine. So I had written only the zeros here. Okay. So now you can think of how to make the how to do the pairing, or how to means do the pairing in this case to simplify this particular K map. Fine. So you can think. Okay. You can think. Fine. And meanwhile, I'm also explaining. So if you would if you would clearly observe or look, so what you will observe that one quad we can form. Fine. One quad we can form easily, and that quad is can form this one quad. Fine. Now after this quad, what can be done of the rest two remaining zeros? What can be done with the rest two remaining zeros? Fine. We can't means include these two in another. So include these zeros and form some another quad. Okay. So what we can do? We can basically include this zero and form a pair. We can include this zero and form a pair, and for this zero, we can form a pair with this. Okay. For this zero, we can form a pair with this. Fine. So now here we have to what we have to do? We have to write the POS format. Fine. So for the POS format, for A it is normal, means for 0 it is normal, and for 1 it is complement. Fine. So B plus C and plus C bar, C bar plus C bar, C bar plus C. Fine. So we would write it like this. Fine. Now coming to the thing that what we have means what pairing we have done and what things we have got here. So we have got one quad. Okay, one quad and two pairs we have got. We have got one quad and two pairs. Fine. So first we will write for this quad. For this quad, what we would get? For this quad, what value we will get? Okay. So if we would consider that this quad is made by this row and this row, so in row both the values are changing. Fine. So now next we would move to the column thing. So it includes this column and this column. Okay. So what is constant? B is constant, C is changing. Fine. B is constant, so this would be here. Now next coming to pairs. Fine. For pairs, this row is for this pair, this row is here, A bar. Fine. Now these two columns will be taken into consideration, and for these two columns, C is constant and B is changing. Fine. So C bar is constant, so we will get C bar. Fine. Now next coming to the this pair. Fine. This pair. So this pair A is same, so it would be A plus this column and this column would be taken into consideration, and in these two columns C is same. Fine. So we will get A plus C. Fine. So we would get A plus C. Now we have to write it in the POS form. Fine. So POS form would be it is product of sum. So we would write B dot A bar plus C bar dot A plus. Fine. This would be our final POS format. This would be our final POS format. Fine. So for this particular example number 2, this would be our final POS format. Okay. Now coming to the next. Okay. So here what the we would take the same example, and now what we will do, we'll write the SOP format of that. For SOP format, what we take into consideration, the ones we take into consideration. Right? So if you remember the previous example, so we were having 0 0, this here 0 0 0 0. Fine. So rest places would be having 1. Fine. This would be 1 and this would be 1. Fine. Now for better understanding, in the SOP format, we have to only take into consideration the 1. I'm removing the zeros. Fine. Now these two ones would be there. Okay. Now you might be thinking that if we have to make a pair, so we can make. Okay. You might be thinking that we can make the pair by in this format, but no. If you're thinking to make the pair in this format, then this is wrong. Okay, this is wrong. This is wrong, and we can't do the pairing in this diagonal format. Fine, we can't do the pairing in this diagonal format. Fine. So what basically we have to do, we have to basically basically do the pairing in the straight format. Means either including the rows in the rows and the column in the column. We can't do the pairing in by taking the terms in the diagonal. Fine. So this was one here. And one was here and one was here. Now if we can't do the pairing, then what we can do? We can't do nothing in this case, so one would remain here, then this one would remain here. Fine. Now coming to this part, so this is the SOP format, so it would be A bar, A, B bar, C bar, B bar, C, B and C are fine. So this would be like this. Fine. So now first write for this, so it would be A bar, B and C, and for this it would be A, B and C bar. It would be A, B and C bar. Okay, so these we would get. Fine. So how we are getting for this particular one? So A bar from here and B and C from here. Fine. For this particular one, A from here, this row, and B and C bar from this particular column. Fine. So for this case, if we now want to write the final SOP format, the SOP is basically the sum of the products. Fine. So we can write A, B, C complement plus A bar B and C. Fine. So in this particular case, this is the final answer that we would get. Okay. So this is the final answer that we would get. Fine. Now, so this was basically all about the K-map part. Okay, so in this we have understood the 4 variable K-maps and the 3 variable K-maps, how to represent, how to make and represent the 3 variable K-map, and how to make and represent the 4 variable K-maps. And then we have taken into consideration the examples. Fine. So examples, I had explained you how to means do the pairing and how to form the pairing code and octet and all, and how to write the final expression in both the SOPs and the POS format. Fine. So this is all about it, and in the next section, we would start with some new topic. Okay. Thank you so much.